Yeah.
Kirsten, we're going to do an exercise here. We're going to look at a pitch deck.
Okay.
The reason I want to do this is because I want to demonstrate for founders how different people look at your pitch deck. And this is the smell test, because if one of your peers or someone who actually works on the other side of the table helping you with your financials or understands the mindset of investor, if they got questions about your pitch deck, they don't understand it, well, what do you think the investor is going to do? So this recreates how we process pitch decks, because I look at 5 to 10 pitch decks a day. I love getting these reactions. We did this yesterday. Get ready. Here we go. This was sent by a founder, not one of our members, I believe, outside of our membership. FYI, spoiler alert, I have not looked at this yet. I'm just going to look at it straight, and I'm going to demo what it's like for an investor to look at these decks right from scratch. And then I'm going to bounce things off of Kirsten, and we're going to find out, hey, wait a second, people don't understand. And you're going to see how you can test this out with your peers and other professionals that you can trust before you send it to an investor. Let's jump into this pitch deck. First, it's cash. We construct efficient smart homes by using transformable layouts. We construct efficient smart homes by using transformable layouts. Kirsten, as soon as you see that, what do you understand this deck to be? How does this headline and subheadline speak to you?
It's a bit vague.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reaching for what this actually means.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's giving the solution statement. Perhaps this feels like a bit of a solution statement, and like right off the gate.
Yeah, and it is, but it's confusing right away. So now we've added some friction right to the cover slide. We construct efficient homes by using transformable layouts. What transformable layouts? I don't know what that means, right? And so if you're thinking, if you just said a new way to build or construct efficient smart homes, then you've set me up to say, okay, we're building smart homes now. Let's take a look at it. But transformable layouts, you don't want to be adding that. And I keep saying this over and over again. Don't put yourself behind the 8 ball by adding more friction to your cover slide. Just be very straightforward, non-fluffy. Don't worry about it. Just explain what you do in a nutshell so the investor can look. Next.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
I saw a trend that I'm liking on pitch decks. You start off by sharing something that is familiar to all, but something along the lines of, we are all loving tiny homes, or we're all prefab homes, or, something that like you would see on a headline that everyone would resonate with, but you like connect your initial part of your deck to a familiarity and a reality that everyone is feeling to like bring them in.
Okay.
An advice I've seen, and it's been really like a very nice intro into the pitch deck.
Yes, great advice, but I want to break down what Kirsten said. If you're saying, oh, that's really great, I'm going to do it. She said something everybody can relate to. You have to make sure that you started off with just that. If you alienate your investor right from the get-go, and you're saying things that are hyperbolic, erroneous, cause cognitive friction, or people can't relate because they need technical knowledge, inside information, inside language, then you've lost them, and you might as well not include that slide whatsoever. So if you're going to use Kirsten's technique, make sure that you do something that everybody can relate to. And I think this leads into what we're talking about here, because it says widespread pain, homes are expensive, construction is the largest polluter, consumers dislike current options. What does this say to you in terms of the pain? Does this make sense? Your first initial reaction, Kirsten.
This is only referencing Toronto.
Okay.
So how large is this business? What's their market that they're trying to address? Because their examples are only, they have 2 examples only showing Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've even heard that it is expensive there in passing, but it's too small. It makes me start to question, like, is this a specific city issue, which is just too small of a market?
Kirsten, you couldn't have set me up better. So right away on the problem slide, you've indicated Toronto with your newspaper clippings, right? And so immediately, Kirsten went to the visual and read Toronto, the headlines, because we're looking for that social proof. Now, if your startup is saying we're going to fix homes in Toronto, then say it in your problem statement. But if you're trying to say we're going to do homes around the world and all you do is include clippings in Toronto, you create this cognitive dissonance. There's this gap that people can't jump over, and it just doesn't make sense. And now the gears start grinding. Furthermore, if we look back, we've got 3 problem statements. Pick one, okay? Or consolidate it into something that makes sense for everyone. If you came to me and you said, okay, in Toronto, let's test this out.
Yeah.
I said, if I came to you, Kirsten, and I said, right now in Toronto, homes have increased 400% year over year, in the last 5 years, which makes them absolutely prohibitive. and they're the largest polluters of the environment. How would you receive that statement?
I would want facts to back that up. And in going back to the slide, it immediately made me question the 38% fact.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So that's a really good thing. So you want to see facts. And that's the reason, if you do that, I would say, according to the Census
Right.
Bureau of Canada, home prices and the latest listings have gone up 400%. And a new study was released that said 38% of these homes are absolutely terrible for carbon. How would you?
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to explain like what's the problem? Because you could say like homes have gone up 400%, but so is the wages.
Sure.
So like if I don't really see, but if it's like homes have gone up 400%, causing homelessness and causing this problem or something to elude why this is even a problem, I think I need to see the rest of that thought carried out.
Okay, with data, right? So now you're starting to see how an investor is immediately going to think. And this is a great example. An investor wants a clear, succinct statement that allows them to check the box and say, I believe you. That makes sense to me, right? And we don't even need a solution yet.
Yeah.
Investor just needs to understand the problem. So what I would do on this one, and we'll keep jumping through, is consolidate, make it so that you clearly show size, scope, and severity, and fix this problem statement. Because an investor, widespread pain, that's an opinion, right? Consumers dislike the current options, that's your opinion. Right? Homes are expensive. You've given us no data. That's your opinion. An investor's not going to trust you that you understand the problem. So get a lot more succinct with this and understand how to create a better problem statement and use your space. The top headline should just say everything you need to say. And if you are focusing on Toronto, these clippings are okay. If not, we'll get rid of them. Next, reimagining homes. So first off, right away, this is a hyperbolic statement. You're talking to the customer, not the investor, right? I don't care about reimagining homes. I care how you're solving the problem. But we're saying the solution, and by the way, everyone, just let you know, do yourself a favor, and some people disagree with me on this one, but I'm going to just stick to my guns here. Put solution in the top of this pitch deck, really small. It shouldn't be the biggest text, but just let us know where we are, and your headline should speak for itself. And some people say, but Ed, if your headline's good, everybody should know exactly what point of the slide deck that you're in. The problem is most of the time they're not good enough. And you just want to help yourself. It's kind of like putting numbering your pages or putting at the top of your book, like what chapter you're in. But let's look at this solution. So we've got, the problem, too expensive, environmentally unfriendly. We're just going to go with that. And the solution, we're saying we're more automatable. Vertical integration results in lower costs. Carbon cost reduction because of increased spatial utilization. And residents thank us. We provide 4x space and we're better value. What's your response to this slide?
I want to add that I like that solution. You're not hurting anyone by putting that, solution up there, either in small font or creating a sentence that conveys that. I agree. I think you need to really lead these investors through a deck and knowing that they have minutes is depending. This is, I'm assuming something that's been like an email deck. They have minutes to look at this and they're seeing, you see 10 a day. Imagine they're seeing 20 a day. So I do agree with that. I agree. I think it is speaking a bit. So, okay, so let's go back. So the problem is they're saying that there's a lot of carbon and that things are expensive.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm gonna pause you there for a second.
Yeah.
So Kirsten is doing what a friendly advisor who wants to help you will do, right? She's trying to extrapolate, and I'm getting crabbier and I'm getting crustier and saltier in my old age where I'm not even going to do that anymore. I'm going to say we lost you at the problem. And the fact that we have to go back, the fact that Kirsten had to go back to the problem to try and figure out your solution, now we've lost. Like this deck doesn't work. Right. Yeah. And so this is the issue. And we're going to do a little role play and I'll get your feedback, Kirsten. But imagine, okay, so we have reimagining homes. It's just we got way too much that's going on here. And you got the 4 data points and all those things. And first
the bottom images could be, in my opinion, could be taken away from this slide.
Absolutely.
It could just be those. Yeah.
Because they don't make sense. But this whole reimagining homes, that's your opinion. That's fluff. That's right to the customer. So let's go back and let's just pretend. So I'm going to redo this pitch deck and I'm going to pitch you live without the use of slides. I'd say, okay, Kirsten, you're an investor. I'm going to say, Kirsten, according to studies like the census and, et cetera, homes have dramatically increased. They've grown 400% year over year, basically squeezing people out of the market. And on top of which, these homes are very environmentally unfriendly by 30%, according to the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, according to this last study. So I go, okay, great. So you understand the problem. Our solution is we build homes using a new way of using the space properly that come in 10% less than the market and have been proven to reduce carbon emissions by 90%. because they're smart and they're clean homes. Problem, solution. What is your reaction?
I would immediately want to know what my return path is.
As far as your money's concerned?
Yep.
Okay, great. That's a good sign. The fact that Kirsten then moved on to, all right, I understand. Now I've got more questions. Now you know your pitch deck is doing things properly. But if Kirsten came back to me and said, I need more information, I still don't understand the problem, let's go back and start asking me questions about my problem and questions about the solution, then that means that my deck has not succeeded. So we're looking at this on how to streamline everything. So if you had a succinct problem statement and a succinct solution statement, now let me just blow through this a little bit here. Team, unless you have won a Nobel Peace Prize or you're an Academy Award winning somebody, you've gone to the moon, don't put your team up front, put your team near the end of the slide. This is not helpful.
Agreed.
Yeah, like it's not there yet. So the next slide after problem solution should be market. We're not even looking at market yet. We're going to competitive analysis. I'm going to leave this alone because we just take for granted. The need for ADUs. I don't even know what an ADU is. Someone explain to me.
They're like external properties on your property, like an external structure on your property. So now I am lost because that did not look like an ADU to me.
Okay, yeah, exactly.
This was an ADU.
Now, if you're all of a sudden bringing ADUs, you haven't brought up problem solution. You haven't included
transition to multi-unit.
The fact that we're having to spend this time processing this means this pitch deck is lost. So then the untapped market. Okay, so you may say, why not?
Doing there.
Clearly, this is for Canadians, and we're appealing to this, and you want to put that right away. If you're going to say this is for Canada, and you want the investor to go, I'm investing in Canada, then say that up front, making Canadian homes cheaper or something along those lines. We have 68% margins. I don't believe you, but that's okay. Key milestones. This slide makes no sense to me whatsoever. $2 million to deliver homes. Is this your ask slide? Are you saying you need to raise? So this is where you're missing information. If you put ask.
Also a $.
$1, yeah, 2 million deliver homes. Like we're missing information and use of funds, and that's it. Okay, so I've demonstrated, and to this founder, we're going to send you what should be in your pitch deck, and we're going to let you know where you're missing and send you to our free resource at Startups.com to your pitch deck. Your pitch decks for everybody, you should be following the general outline like this: problem, solution, market size. All right. Next, how it works, how you make money. Go to market strategy, you've got one. Competition, team, traction, and then maybe the ask. Maybe you got some financials. You got
financials.
Yeah, but if you're
somewhere in the end, towards the end, with the business plan, kind of in the like getting into the weeds section.
Exactly.
I mean, of course, I'm going to say that, right? Because this is what I do. But I do believe very light financial pitch deck slide is key.
Right. If you would have said all the things up front, and this pitch deck would have had all those things in order, and we would understand the problem, solution, market, how much money you make, and you came up to this, we have 68% margins. First of all, I don't believe you because I'm savvy enough to know, trust me, homes do not have 68% margin. But if you showed me this and then you had some math to explain it based on our proprietary process, you able to back it up with just a little bit more, then this slide would be powerful. Now, you lost me at ADUs. Is this, you have 68% margin on ADU? Because I'm looking at this, Kirsten, I don't know about you, but that looks like an ADU. Like what is that, like a grandmother's suite or? Right?
Yeah, because like,
that's not the home.
So maybe this is the view from a house and then they have it. So no one has the size of a lot. This is very expensive to have the size of a lot.
So maybe what they're saying, this startup is saying, we're making things affordable by building ADUs, like smart energy. The problem is now I'm making all this stuff up.
That doesn't solve anything about the beginning of the problem statement, because an ADU, you have to rent out for an Airbnb or you put your grandmother in it or something. Like ADUs are not, as far as I know, I don't consider them the sole unit that you live in. They're always an extension on your property.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely missed something.
So again, demonstration. And this is where founders, they can get frustrated with me, but I literally will ask them to explain it to me like I'm in junior high and you came to my school for career day. Because and I'll ask, and founders will a lot of times have an amazing business idea. Like, Will Schroeder and I were talking about a founder, and he was like, he kind of gave some weird advice. And I was like, I don't understand what the business does. Once he explained to me, I was like, oh my goodness, that is weird advice. And then Will tells me it's actually a really good business concept and idea. And I'm like, that didn't come out in the pitch deck. I have no idea. They haven't been able to explain it to me yet. And so that's the reason that you want to get your story completely straight. And if Kirsten, a peer who wants to understand and wants to help you can't understand it, she's doing mental gymnastics, then an investor is not going to be spending their 90 seconds going through your deck any further. So there's some advice
Exactly.
for that. Okay, so hopefully this was helpful for everybody in terms of how we process pitch decks. And we're going to do one of these pitch decks every single time because I like getting these opinions from our guests. And that way it's not just me, shutting out into the void and the abyss. All right. So next, thanks,
I have
Kirsten.
empathy for this. Like it to everyone listening, like it is difficult to make a pitch deck. I don't want you to think like it's so easy for us to armchair criticize as we're sitting here and you put all this work into it. It is hard. And I think you need to step back repeatedly and look at it as if you've never seen it before. So if that means maybe having to look at it the next morning and take a fresh look and put yourself in the shoes of someone, I think you have to do that repeatedly and say, if I knew nothing about what I just wrote here, how would this come across, or show it left to the question of which version of a pitch presentation, and a lot of the stuff that we asked about would be verbal, or like which one was. So for those listening, you want to add a little bit about that, but there's different types of pitch decks for folks.
Well, you're being incredibly empathetic, and I appreciate your approach always, and it's always a good reminder. And definitely there's different, and that's what we're going to cover through these different shows and the way that we are going to critique these pitch decks.